Welcome back to what Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the AMX 13F3AM, the Tier 6 French SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Serene Coast and it's under the command of Angelina75, and this is the first replay she's had a chance to submit since she's actually been playing on the new computer, mainly because she had relatives over. Okay, game on. Now, as you know, it's a 155mm howitzer mounted on an AMX 13-ton tank chassis. They built quite a few of them, 621, and most of them were for the French forces. It's an air transportable Arty, which means that this SPG can go just about anywhere, as long as they can stick it in the back of an aircraft. They can have aircraft will travel. And this little Arty will travel great distance, and of course France needs air transportable because of course they've got colonies. Yep, French is still basically a colonial country, but we forgive them for that. In fact, I think many people would say not a problem. They did get rid of some of their colonies, they had to. The locals were revolting, quite literally. Yes, they had to say goodbye to Algeria, but of course they still have many colonies around the world, not only in the South Pacific, I believe, but also in the Caribbean. In fact, the thing about it is that France, and those people and those colonies, rather enjoy being in the French Empire, you might say, simply because it means that even though they're out in the Caribbean, they've got membership of the EU and they're EU citizens, which means they can enter just about any country they like. She's almost loaded. Going for two at the same time. Rounds out. That's better. Hit the G2 for 248. Nice one. First significant hit in the game. No, they've all disappeared at the moment. Our team aren't really doing a good job spotting. There's a 5916 and a Type 64. They're in the dip at the moment, and I think they're fighting it out with the enemy's light tanks as well. Let's see if we can get around onto that Rudy. Oh, there's the enemy T-52. Angelina's trying to work out where he's headed. Rounds out. Well, he would have headed that way if he'd gone up the hill, but he chose to continue. Now we've got an M44 on our team as well, so it looks like he might actually help us, because if Angelina gets a hit on an enemy tank, the M44 might follow it up and try and get some stun assist. Here we go, G2 again, rounds out, direct hit. Well, she got some stun assist there off the G2 being killed. Okay, AMX 12-ton in sight, but he's headed off in a different direction and we've lost sight of him. Both of our light tanks standing in the dip got wiped out, so we've got nobody to spot at the moment except the Jackson and the Cromwell. And so Angelina's firing in around where the enemy were last seen. There doesn't appear to be that many tanks out on the peninsula. The enemy's only got a KV-2 as far as we're aware. But it looks like most of the enemy's tanks actually went to the west rather than to the east, and now they're all returning to their cap area simply because they've suddenly realised they've left the back door open. Angelina's realised that as well, so she's going to go round and try and shoot from the other side. Oh, almost collided with the Su-100. But she's going to get into a position where she can help her teammates on this side of the map. And oh, she just got spotted by that T-52. And I suspect he wants to get a quick kill. But he's very low on hit points. So if Angelina gets a shot on him, he's out of the game. And she does. Nice. She put the round next to him. He was a one-shot, a splash kill. And she put the round where it would do the worst to him. And it did. Okay, she's now moving while she's still in aim view. That's it, that's better, she's come out. just changing position to avoid the enemy Arty having a go. The enemy are losing this. They're down to just 6 vehicles now, and Angelina's decided to move closer to the enemy. Okay, it looks like the enemy are going to run out of players very soon. Okay, she's aiming for the church, but I think actually she needs to go and aim a little further back than that, because the enemy's got a AMX 12 ton and a Rudy up near their cap area. We just lost our T-3485M to their Hellcat. Okay, I think the M44 on our team, he went way too far forward, and now we've got no tanks on this side of the map, but we are attacking on the other side because they left the other back door open, or rather the front door open, and the Jackson and the Cromwell are making a fast run. If the M44 doesn't move, the Hellcat will find him, and it looks like that might actually happen. But he shotguns the Hellcat, and just like Angelina shotgunning the T-52, he defends himself adequately. Now, we did lose the Cromwell up at the other end of the map because the AMX 12 ton came around the corner. In fact, it was the Rudy who got him. So there's a Rudy somewhere hidden up in the north end of the map. And they've still got both of their Arty. Both of them M44s. Angelina, I think, is going to reposition so she can support the Jackson and the SU-100. This is very interesting because she's staying above the dip. You don't want to go into the dip because it would actually have negative effects on your ability to aim. So she's actually picking a spot with a bush so she can hide. And unfortunately, we have lost another teammate. So we're now just down to the SU-100, Angelina, and the M44. Fires into the bush where she thinks the T-3485 Rudy was. I'm pretty sure the enemy Arty is in that area because that's where we saw Tracer coming from earlier in the game. They picked conventional spots to fire from. One of them has 3 kills, the other one has 1. So I think the one with 3 kills is probably quite an experienced player. She's looking towards behind the rock. That will be a good firing position. Just behind that bush. Oh, somebody's there. He just knocked a tree over. I would fire it around straight into there. But the enemy M44, one of them has been found. And there's the Rudy. He's trying to block the M44 and he kills him. Okay, now try and kill this M44 if you can, Angelina. Oh, she got him. She got one of them anyway. I don't know if that was the same one, but he was still there and the SU-100 is moving up. That means the Rudy's going to have to come back because if he's only got his Arty there defending the area and there's a full strength SU-100 headed towards them, yep, they will have to defend their cap area. Angelina's loaded, ready to go. Remember, in games like this, where you've got a gun that takes a little while to traverse, if you're going to do a shotgun, it actually does help to auto-aim onto the target, which steadies the gun to a certain extent and enables you to get a more direct hit on the enemy. Saves the gun from waving around. I think one of our members had that problem just the other day, or in a replay I did yesterday, where he actually overshot the enemy. And there's the other M44, the SU-100 takes him out, so we miss out on the counter-battery medal. But yes, he overcooked it. He went too far, didn't realise there was a bit of a steep dip just where he was going, and then he had to try and traverse quickly to get a shot on the enemy target. Thankfully, he did have heat rounds, so he guaranteed a hit. But the problem he had was, of course, because he didn't auto-aim, there was no steadiness of the on the gun, so he had to do it manually. Okay, we are capping. Now, if the SU-100 covers one side, we can cover the other. And if the enemy comes around the corner to try and get a reset, he's going to get a nasty surprise. So Angelina needs to get ready. Pull back a bit, that's it. Let the rock protect you. He has to come around that corner if he wants to get a reset. And if he does, he's going to get a 155mm howitzer round right in his face. And that will be the end of his game. He is the last enemy alive. I won't worry about the corner, because the thing is that if he tries to come around that route, then he will get proximity spotted. She's lining it up, getting it ready, dialing in. Keep your aim down. This Arty does actually have 6 degrees of gun depression, but it doesn't in the game. And they've done it! They capped out. They won the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the third-class tanker for Angelina in the AMX 13F3AM. She managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, she managed to get 6 in that game, and her win rate was 1,366, but sadly, that means she's behind Talon, because he got a first-class tanker, Bruiser, and 1,727 from his game. If we look at the rest of the team scores, we can see that Angelina didn't get the highest damage. No, that actually went to the Jackson R team with 1,547. The second highest damage was the Cromwell, 1,413. And the third highest damage was the Skoda T25 and the enemy team, 1,329. I think the Rudy left it too late. I think he might have been trying to go for our cap, but then suddenly realized that we were capping with 2. And there was no way he could get back in time, and that's why I think he just didn't turn up. Anyway, we can see that Angelina managed to get 856 hit points, which means that she had, what was it, 3, 6, there's 6 members of the enemy team above her, and 6 members of her own team, so she's on 13th place on damage. When it came to kills, though, she was actually in joint 3rd place, because the top scorer was the Rudy, who had 4 kills. 3 kills went to the SU-100 and the Hellcat and M44 on the enemy team. And when it came to 3rd place, the Cromwell, Angelina, both managed to get 2 kills each, so joint 3rd. When it came to base XP, she's a little further up the table, because in fact she's higher than everyone on the enemy team, but there were 4 members of her own team above her. The Cromwell managed 765, the Jackson 684, the T-3485M 673, and the SU-100 managed 667. She fired 10 rounds in that game, got 3 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations though, but she did get 6 splashes, and one of those protected her life and allowed her to get a kill. 856 hit points of damage, of which 826 were at more than 300 meters, the difference being that T-52, which she shot at very close range. 1 hit received, it was a penetration, that was from the T-52, yeah, he got very, very close to her. 4 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, and 101 hit points of stun assist off 4 stuns, and she managed to get 46 capture points in the cap, which means that her teammate managed to get 54 and cap out. On a free-to-play account, she earned 17,635 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, she managed to make a profit of 7,173 credits, 589 base XP, times 3 for the first victory, took away 1,767 experience points altogether. She says here it is, I think it was a bit late because obviously she had relatives around and therefore it was difficult for her to play. But this is the best she's been able to put forward so far, but it doesn't mean that she won't win, because she could actually get an ace tanker tonight, you see. And if she does, then she sends that in, then she wins automatically, and that relegates Talon to getting up after Remy and chasing around after him, switching all the light switches off and trying to pick up all the toys that he's throwing everywhere. No, we love him. That's not what a little boy does when they're growing up. Anyway, it looks like Angelina's going to be getting up at the weekend unless she submits another ace tanker. We'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.